Hello everyone, my name is Darkhero and welcome back to Monster Hunter Wilds. We just got a brand new festival that came with new event quests, new weapons and armor sets, and of course, the big highlight that I will be focusing in this video, the new Arc-Tempered monster Uthduna, and of course the Uthduna Gamma armor set. So in today's video I want to talk about the armor set, how good it actually is, try to make some builds with it, and see if I can improve some of my already very powerful endgame builds. So with that being said, let's get started. So here we are in the brand new gathering hub, everything looks fantastic. I love that we have these palicos with all of the flames. These little woods look fantastic. And of course we can forget about the water gun, can run around spraying all of these different NPCs. It would be funny if these flaming palicos would have a reaction to you watering them. And of course we have the brand new outfits for some of our favorite NPCs, like the handler Alma, and of course our boy Eric, which I don't know where he is right now. And of course we have best girl Gemma in her new outfit, which looks absolutely amazing. And keep in mind, you can spray Gemma with the water gun, so would do with that information what you will. And as you can see, I have the full Uthduna Gamma armor set on, and it's actually quite decent and you can make some very good builds with it. Though truth be told, I was hoping for a little bit more. Now of course one of the biggest important things about the Uthduna Gamma set is the fact that it shares the Lord Soul set bonus with the other Arc-Tempered monsters and their Gamma armor sets. Now of course we only have Arc-Tempered Radao to compare it and mix it with, but the fact that we're able to get the skill Guts that effectively gives you a 5% attack boost at the cost of lowering your defense, but allowing you to survive a lethal hit, and after you lose that benefit and you do get hit by an attack that would normally card you, you get some extra defense and resistances. I talked about this before in my previous videos, it's a very powerful set bonus. That 5% attack goes a long way, and again just being able to resist a hit that would normally card you is a very good benefit. And given how enticing the Radao Gamma armor pieces are, a lot of those pieces come with some very good skills and skill slots, so going into the Uthduna Gamma set I was hoping for the same. And when you have all 5 pieces of the Uthduna Gamma set completed, you get Peak Performance level 5, which will increase your attack up to 20 whenever you are at full health, Tool Specialist level 5, which will shorten the recharge time for your mantles by up to 50% at level 5. We'll come back to why this is important in a moment. Earplugs level 3, which will nullify weak and strong monster roars. Quick Sheath level 3, a very nice skill to have, especially for the longsword users, that allows you to increase the speed at which you sheath your weapon. Agitator level 2, a very powerful meta skill that ideally you would have more levels of, as it grants you attack and affinity. And then you have the new set bonus for Uthduna, Protective Veil 1 and 2. Protective Veil at level 1 will increase your defense temporarily whenever you use a specialized tool, so again whenever you use these mantles. And at level 2 it will greatly increase your defense and resistances whenever you use a specialized tool. Now as for the actual numbers, as you can see on the right side, I have 159 defense and I only have 2 pieces from the Uthduna Gamma set equipped, and whenever I put on my Ghillie Mantle, you can see on the right side Protective Veil 1 has been activated and I now have 184 defense. And as you can see, even when I take out the mantle, I still retain the defense benefit, as the skill will last for 3 minutes. And 3 minutes is a very long duration in this game. And now as you can see, I have 4 pieces from the Uthduna Gamma set equipped. I have a total of 280 defense, and if we use the fire resistance as a point of comparison, I have 6 fire resistance. So whenever I put on the Ghillie Mantle, you can see on the right side the skill Protective Veil 2 has activated, and I now have 327 defense and 18 fire resistance. So this is an increase of plus 50 defense and plus 12 for all elemental resistances. And again, this will expire after 3 minutes of having the mantle equipped. So before we address the best armor pieces and why some of them are going to be meta moving forward, on the surface level I can say that the Uthduna armor set bonus is quite decent if you're looking for some extra resistances and defense, as getting this much defense and these many resistances is not really that easy to obtain. And so if you want to come up with, which I am going to be doing on a separate video, an immortal build where you just are able to tank a ton of hits and still be able to heal through it and deal damage, this would be the way to do it. Now of course the biggest downside of the Uthduna armor set and the Protective Veil set bonus is of course that its activation is tied to the mantle being equipped. And a lot of these mantles have a very long cooldown until you're able to use them once again. As you can see, all of these mantles have a 10-minute cooldown. Now, of course, you can start off combat by equipping the Ghillie Mantle. You then activate the effect of the Uthduna Veil. That will last for 3 minutes, even if the effect of the Ghillie Mantle has run out. And then once the Ghillie Mantle runs out, you then swap into your other mantle, though preferably you want to do it the other way around, so you can get the cooldown started on those 10 minutes from the equipped mantle that you have. Now, naturally, this is where the Tool Specialist is going to come into effect. As I explained before, by having Tool Specialist level 5, you'll be able to shorten the recharge time of your mantles by up to 50%, so cutting down on the timer by 5 minutes. So if you start off a quest by using, for example, the Mending Mantle, you have the Uthduna Veil effect active for 3 minutes, then as soon as that runs out, you put on the Ghillie Mantle, so again you have 3 more minutes with Uthduna above, and by the time that runs out, you will need to wait only 2 minutes to equip your Mending Mantle once again. This is of course assuming that you do have Tool Specialist at level 5. Now, if you want to do it, you can simply take these Vambraces, which are going to help you out a lot, or this Waist Piece, which is also quite powerful. The thing about Tool Specialist is that it is a level 2 decoration slot skill, so it can't be slotted in as easily into just about any build, but because these Vambraces have 3 levels of Tool Specialist already with a level 2 slot, means you can have Tool Specialist level 4 just by having this, and you also get a point of Agitator, which is a very powerful meta skill. Alternatively, you can just forego having the decoration used and go with these 2 pieces, which again, the Waist is quite powerful, giving you 2 level 3 slots, and the Tool Specialist, that is something that you may desire. The Chest Piece is a pretty powerful armor piece if you manage to keep peak performance active throughout the entire duration, which is going to be difficult. That said, it combines very well with Mending Mantle, that is going to continuously restore your health for the 80 seconds that the mantle lasts, but by the time the mantle runs out, you effectively don't have peak performance, so that's going to be a little bit tricky because we don't really have the health regen buff that we had in Monster Hunter World, for example. You also get earplugs level 2 with the chest piece, but the lack of decoration slots, in my opinion, make this chest piece not that competitive. As for the helmet, peak performance level 2 and earplugs level 1, again, I'm not a huge fan of these 2 skills. Having 1 point of earplugs is a good idea in this game because a lot of monsters have what is considered a minor roar, so you're able to entirely nullify their minor roars by just having 2 points of earplugs, or a single point of earplugs if you're playing the Insect Lay, for example. So it's not a bad idea to have earplugs, but it's certainly not one of my preferences. And then finally, the greaves. They are decent, but they're not ideal. Again, Quick Sheath is a very powerful skill for longsword, but for pretty much any other weapon, it's not that great. Agitator level 1 and a level 3 decoration slot are quite appealing, as is getting the 2 extra points of a level 1 decoration slot. So these greaves are actually quite good, but you only really take full advantage of them if you're using something like the longsword. So as you can see, the Uthduna Gamma set, while not being the new meta when it comes to a DPS race and seeing what set allows you to deal the most amount of damage, it feels like a side grade in many ways, with some pieces where you are able to add a little bit of extra comfort and defense onto your build at the cost of a little bit of extra damage. Personally, I like it, but it also feels somewhat gimmicky unless you go all out and take full advantage of having Tool Specialist and the Uthduna cover the protective veil, and again try to reach for an immortal build that of course also takes further advantage of having the Guts skill by using Gamma pieces from an Arc Tempered monster. You can splash a few of these armor pieces into different builds and combine them with the Arc Tempered Raidal set to create a pretty powerful endgame build that compares to some of the strongest meta options, and that is what I'm going to be showing you here. But I just don't think that this armor set is going to be quite as popular as some of the other ones that we have received with all of the title updates or any sort of other addition that we have received in the game. So with that said, let's now check out my updated endgame build that utilizes the Arc Tempered Uthduna Gamma set, which may be replacing some of my endgame meta builds. And as you can see, we're utilizing the Arc Tempered Raidal Gamma helmet, the Zoshia Beta chest piece, Raidal Gamma Vambraces, the Zoshia Waist Beta, and finally the Uthduna Gamma Greaves. These pieces would allow you to get Agitator level 5 along with some other useful skills like Quick Sheath level 3 and Evade Extender level 1, and also Weakness Exploit and Maximum Might 1 to further increase our affinity and make our job of getting more affinity and therefore more damage more easily. And we also get a bunch of set bonuses. We get the 2-piece Raidal Voltage, which doesn't really come into effect since we don't have latent power. We get the Zoshia Pulse, which is going to allow us to naturally recover health over time so long as we don't have red health. This is something that I tested in one one of my previous videos, and the benefits are actually quite good, especially if you pair it with speed recovery, which I'll talk about in a moment, effectively negating any downtime that you would have with the skill. And lastly, we have the Guts 3-piece set bonus by having armor pieces from arc-tempered monsters that again is going to give you a 5% attack boost and the ability to negate one lethal hit, and after you take that hit you get the extra defense and resistance. We're then going to add a Counter-Strike charm, get Counter-Strike level 3, one of the best skills in the entire game, as if you get hit by an attack that would knock you down, you get a 25 attack increase that lasts for 45 seconds, and if you time your focus strike right at the moment you're going to get hit, you can still activate it without actually getting hit, and a 25 attack increase is a huge damage bonus. We're then going to add 1 chain jewel, 4 tenderizer jewels, 1 mighty jewel, and 2 recovery jewels, and we end up with weakness exploit 5 and agitator level 5, which is going to give us a lot of affinity, which combined with the additional 20% affinity from maximum might, so we basically get around a 65% affinity without taking into account our weapon's affinity, and it can go up to 85% affinity if you have the extra 20% when hitting a wound. Quick Sheath again especially good on weapons like the longsword, but it's also useful on just about any weapon. Recovery speed is going to triple the speed at which you recover your red health, that again is going to allow the Zoshia set bonus super recovery to trigger and essentially give you free healing so long as you don't have red health. Evade Extender level 2 is just one of my favorite defensive skills in the game. I love having the ability to go farther with my dodge rolls. I think it is fantastic on so many weapons. And Burst level 1 is simply there to allow you to deal more damage. As I always say in my videos, Burst is one of the best 1-point wonder skills in the entire game, as it allows you to deal a lot more damage by just having a single decoration of this skill active. So while we don't have maximum might level 3 to get 10% additional affinity, I do believe that Burst ends up being a better choice. Then Stamina Surge is just there to allow us to maintain maximum might a little bit better, since it helps our stamina recovery speed, and Coalescence is going to allow you to deal more elemental damage or build up status effects, though it isn't going to trigger as consistently as when you are using Coalescence together with the Gormagala set bonus, for example. And then for the weapon, I would recommend going for an Arcane weapon, slapping in as many attack infusions and trying to get as much attack as possible, along with a decent amount of sharpness. And I would probably go something like this, where you have Razor Sharp Handicraft, critical boost level 3 for additional damage when dealing critical hits, and an Expert Jewel to get critical eye level 3 to further boost your affinity. This setup is going to work with just about any weapon, and the best thing about this build is that it really fits just about any weapon you choose, because you just end up getting so many different things that every weapon is going to enjoy having, while still gaining the benefits of being protected from a one-shot attack and also getting that passive healing along with the Vid Extender. It's just an all-around very powerful build that is going to replace some of my endgame sets, and so I highly recommend everyone to give this a try. Now sadly, this set doesn't include a lot of pieces from Uthduna, as again some of the skills that the Gamma set comes with are a little bit more niche than we're used to, and so you need to either go full all out on making those builds or just add 1 or 2 pieces like I did here to improve my builds. So if you have come up with a different build that utilizes a couple of Uthduna pieces for your endgame sets, let me know in the comment section below. And again, if you guys want to see that Immortal build, do subscribe to the channel, as I will be doing that in the future. With that being said, my name is Dark Hero, hope you are enjoying the festival and having fun with Monster Hunter Wilds, and as always, happy hunting!